What's up, y'all? This is crazy, and I'm really excited about it, so let's talk. To start off, I'm Zach. I figured I'd go ahead and introduce myself because, I'm in the very beginning of this kind of thing and thought it might be really good to do. So I'm a wedding and portrait photographer based out of Pensacola, Florida. I've been doing that for a couple years, and I'm married, and I have some dogs, and it's just a good life. I started wedding photography when I was 16. I got married when I was 19, which is wild, but super cool. I'm an Enneagram 3, so if you know about the Enneagrams, that's the achiever, which means I just love doing to-dos, man, and I love getting stuff done. I have 2 dogs, and I have a lot of plant babies. But what I really want to talk about is the main point of this video, which is how I plan to grow my channel to 1,000 subscribers in my first month, which might seem like a really lofty kind of goal, but may as well set goals high if you're going to do them. And I'm really excited about this kind of challenge. So let me talk to you about how I plan to do that and the strategy that I really think is going to work and pay off. And at the very least, in a month, we'll get to see how it worked. Also, just a note, today is April 7th, and if I can get there by May 1st, I'm going to say yes, that's totally what I meant. But if not, then I'm going to say I totally meant May 7th. So I kind of want to talk about how I, was researching and trying to build a strategy for this. And, I found some advice from other YouTubers. I have some knowledge from doing my photography business. And I also, at the end, I'm going to talk about how I just plan to kind of work ethic and brute force my way through this, which I think is maybe one of the most critical steps, but we'll get to that. So the first thing was that I spent about an hour yesterday and around 30 minutes today just watching YouTubers' videos on how they built their account. I'm very much a person who I like to make like the epic choice and, do something kind of crazy and be kind of like a pioneer. But at the same time, I totally recognize that there are people who are established in this space, who know what they're doing, who have had lots of good mentors themselves. Lots of these people with like 200,000 subscribers or whatever. I found myself at first, I was looking at their account and I'm like, well, why do I want to listen to them? Because they only have 200 and not a million or, 5 million or whatever. But one thing I need to realize, and what, A, stupid mentality because everybody can teach you something, and B, these people with 200,000 subscribers, I'm willing to bet that they listen to people who have 1 million now. Maybe they started out by watching someone who had 200,000 and is now at 1 million. So really, it should be the same good content, and I shouldn't have devalued it at first. But anyway, I spent probably an hour and a half total just watching other people's content about how they thought you would be very successful starting a YouTube channel in 2020. And here's some of the main tips that I pulled out from their videos. Also, I just want to shout out to Vanessa Lau, a YouTube channel called Video Influencers. My friend John Branch IV, who is a epic wedding photographer who is also doing YouTube and crushing it and has been a huge inspiration for me. And also the man Gary Vee. I've been following him for the longest time, and I think it's so easy to kind of indoctrinate yourself with his content of like, oh, do more, just make 1 billion, pieces of content a day and post them or whatever. But probably nobody ever takes action on it, So, thanks, Gary Vee, for being consistent until I actually started doing stuff. So one of people's main kind of thoughts, and something that I saw across a lot of YouTubers' suggestions on how to grow your account, was to niche yourself, which is essentially where your account has a specific purpose and a genre, so to speak. Like on Netflix, there's comedies and action and horror movies, whatever, kind of like that, so that when people are looking at your account, maybe they find one video that interests them and they say, oh, let me go look at their channel and see if they have any other interesting content. They will be more likely to subscribe if they see a lot of content like what they just watched, because maybe it was helpful, it was enough to get them to your channel, and at that point they might be like, oh man, I love all this content, let me go ahead and subscribe so I get new content just like this. Kind of some of my thoughts on that are, Vanessa Lau was saying that it's more important to think about who you're trying to target rather than what your niche is, and I think this is maybe more specifically when you're just starting out. Her video was very specifically titled growing by 1,000 subscribers in 1 month. So very relevant. Essentially, I think the concept behind that is that if you think about who you're trying to target and who might like content like what you would like to create, then over time your niche will become more evident to you as you see what videos perform better. You get some feedback from the community and in the comments, likes and dislikes ratio, stuff like that. And over time, your niche will kind of just appear. What I was telling my friend Jason, and not like I'm a genius or super established in this space, but I thought it was some good advice. And he was talking about, I need a niche, but I have these couple things I want to talk about. Do I need to make a separate channel for each of them? And what I was telling him is that I think as long as you just start and put out content, that you're gonna over time figure out what your niche needs to be. Chick-fil-A, people go there because they have awesome food with chicken. But before they could be all that, they had to just start selling food at all. So if you're making no content right now and just consuming, or if you're just beginning like I am, I think more important than niching down and getting everything just perfect is to actually start making videos. Actually start, just kind of putting something out there, even if it's once every 2 weeks. So essentially, to wrap up the niche talk and my plan as far as niching goes, I'm gonna start by posting pretty much any kind of content that I think is valuable or is interesting to me, or that I am maybe educated in that kind of space. Like maybe it's about lighting design, because I had a lot of experience doing that at my church, wedding photography, how I edit these videos since I've been editing videos with this software for 5 or 6 years, maybe some Photoshop tutorials, personal finance stuff, because I love Dave Ramsey and all the financial piece stuff, and also we got out of debt ourselves and took control of our budget and our income and stuff like that. I'm going to start by posting essentially whatever comes to mind, so that whenever I think I should record and post a video, that I'm not stuck thinking I need to think about a video that pertains to this niche, but instead it's like, I have this video idea, let me go ahead and film it, put it out. And then across the month, I'm going to feel out what does the best and maybe kind of target that and try to lean more into that kind of direction. There's a garbage truck outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm going to wait. Where are we? New York? The next piece of advice that a lot of people were saying is to make searchable content. So things that people would actually think, I have this issue, this knowledge gap, and I want to find out a little bit more about it. Let me search up some keywords and see what pops up. Vanessa Lau was talking about how vlog channels don't necessarily get a lot of traction until you're already a bigger creator, because not a whole lot of people are invested in you. Like maybe your friend circle and your family would be interested in watching like a daily vlog that you made, but until you're actually a bigger YouTuber and already have a good bit of net worth as far as subscribers go, that there's not going to be a whole lot of emotional investment or time spent in you and your life. So creating searchable content, I plan to post stuff that I know about and just kind of work from there. So kind of my plan for that is I plan to either make content based off questions and knowledge gaps that I've had before in my life and that I think would have really helped me during that time, whether it's wedding photography or lighting design or personal finance, stuff like that. And or I plan to be making content that I think is just generally kind of underserved, where maybe there's specific details of certain programs that I know about that not a lot of people are familiar with, or how to start a photography business while you're in high school, or personal finance for the next generation. Things that will really set people up for success, and also that I think that there's not a whole lot of, not that there's not a market for it, but maybe people haven't had the forethought to post videos on that content. Because if I can get into any of those spaces and maybe mark myself as a leader or, an authority in that kind of space, then I think that'll give me extra growing power and fuel to push even farther. Quality content. I'm totally reading my notes over here. Casey Neistat said that if you make great content, people will care. And that's super true, man. Nobody watched Tiger King because it was boring and poorly produced. Everybody watched it because it was epic and interesting and very well made. So if I can try to make just good content, and obviously that's completely subjective, and I'm also telling people, like, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you just have an iPhone, freaking go for it, Don't let quality be the thing that holds you up, because quality, it's like a circle, right? And there's all these different ways that it can pull. You can have video quality, audio quality, content, cool effects, all these different things. Maybe your energy is really cool. And I think if you're lacking in one area, but you're strong in the other areas, that it can totally make up for it. In your video overall, people will be like, that's epic. For instance, if I'm trying to watch a tutorial on some sort of software or, something in general, and it's filmed on an iPhone, recording a screen, but I get the information that I want, I'm still going to be stoked and really thankful that video exists. I'll drop a like, maybe if they have other content like it that pertains to what I'm interested in, maybe I'll subscribe, So making quality content without feeling like I have to have every single piece in place right now. The next is thumbnail. Pretty basic, you want it to have readable text, be very engaging, very exciting. I like the idea of a text that is kind of will pull you in. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be one of those clickbait YouTubers. Hopefully not. Probably everybody is a little bit. And you know what? Maybe I'll wind up doing that. I don't know. But just making sure the thumbnail is cool and will stand out amongst the competition. Your thumbnail should have consistent branding. So, when you're over in the sidebar looking at the related videos area, your video is competing against all these other creators. So if you maybe have 2 or 3 videos over there and the thumbnail looks really similar for all of them, maybe you're more likely to get a click if somebody connects with that style of thumbnail and that title and stuff. And when they go to your channel, they'll feel like, oh wow, all these videos are really cohesive. All the thumbnails look very similar. I could binge watch this content because it all feels really cohesive. It goes together. Let me spend my next couple hours watching it. Super smart. And one of the last ones that so many other YouTubers were saying is just start. I even said this in my last video about how I made a YouTube video, which is very meta. But being me, and this is kind of, I guess, the reason that I'm doing this is A, I've had the idea for a long time, but B, I just kind of want to start and go hard. Why am I gonna go slow with this, especially while we're in quarantine? Why am I gonna limit myself to 1 video a week while I'm starting, or 2 videos a week? If I can, I'd like to film 2 a day, and that's not me promising that. But I would like to get to the point where I'm so efficient with this process that I can knock out 2 a day, still have time to work on my photography business, which is not taking a whole lot of time during the season because I can't go and shoot anything, and still have plenty of time to go hang out with Madison, and just be married and chill out, have an off time, But being a total Enneagram 3, I'm like, let's go, let's just start. So now that I just started and I put out my 2 videos before this, and I have this video and a bunch of other ideas for other ones, I just kind of want to knock it out and crush it. See what all this can be. Which is why I gave myself the challenge of I want to get 1,000 subscribers in a month, which, like I said at the beginning of the video, is kind of lofty, kind of crazy, something that's hard to plan for, but I'm going to do my very best. And, maybe if all these other tips aren't perfect or super helpful, or if I don't execute on them properly, then maybe just having a whole ton of content will help me get there. If I can put out 30 videos in that amount of time, that equals out to like 1 a day. And I've already done 3. So I'm ahead. Wow. As I'm on this crazy goal and just starting, I've just started. My goal isn't just to make a lot of content, is to figure out how to make it as efficiently as possible. So doing what I can to make the edit time faster, film for less long, write my scripts ahead of time faster, and also making the upload process just as quick and easy as possible, where I can just get it done, because this is super fun, but I also don't want it to ever rule my life. Does that make sense? Is that inconsistent? It's okay. It's okay. I'm pretty sure it's not. Whatever. One of the last kind of steps to the just starting idea is I'm going to put in a lot of research and do a lot of education, try to really learn and follow other people's lead in how they grew their account, and also what, concepts, ideas, and tips they have, and just kind of follow them. Why am I going to make up all my own stuff and start from scratch and make 1,000 mistakes and errors and stuff? If there were people who have already done that and are more established and can just give me a hand up, they're already farther along the ladder. And I bet a lot of YouTubers, and clearly because they're posting videos trying to help people do YouTube, are trying to give people a hand up and help them out. I think there's space for everybody. So those are pretty much all my tips that I gathered on how to start a YouTube channel and grow it pretty quickly. I plan to be doing all of those techniques as good as I can. As I learn and grow and keep going, I'm sure that some of the different subsections of those tips, like the searchable content and the niche and stuff, that I'm going to refine and learn a little bit more about and truly try to optimize them. But along the way, that's what I'm going to kind of do. And I also hope to sprinkle in some of my own special sauce of things that I've learned from doing wedding photography and just being involved in my church production team for a long time. Like, starting a Facebook page just from a YouTube channel so that I can share stuff along without clogging up my other business profiles. Or, running Facebook ads just to try to get a couple extra views, especially in the beginning as I'm trying to, get my minimum watch time to be monetized and get up to 1,000 subscribers so that I can be monetized, but also mainly so that I can hit my goal and just kind of prove to myself, I guess, that I can do it. I think it might be worth a couple bucks to throw some Facebook ads out there and see what succeeds. At the same time, that'll be valuable market research I can make a couple different ads targeting different people with different interests, see what's successful and what is, working well with my content. And then I'll know a little bit more about my audience before YouTube has a whole lot of analytics to give me, and I think that'll be a very smart and wise investment. Another idea that I had is making a simple website where I can post my YouTube videos and maybe even the script that I wrote for the YouTube videos right there, kind of like a blog. And I think that that'll be also helpful for SEO and actually getting me on Google, since all my keywords and stuff are going to point back to my video, and maybe Google or YouTube will think, wow, this video is being shared to a website, and this profile is being okay, and maybe eventually people could share my post to their Facebook page or their Instagram as a blog post that had my YouTube video embedded in it. And that would just be another maybe more accessible way. Maybe somebody can read wherever they're at, but they can't watch a YouTube video right now. Like if they're in the subway and forgot their headphones, they could go ahead and read a blog about how I'm doing stuff and get the same content as my video, and maybe they click it, go to my channel, subscribe for later. I don't know. The very, very last thing and part of my plan is that I'm just gonna believe in myself. We watched the new Disney Pixar movie Onward last night. It was really good, and shout out to Disney for releasing it early instead of, delaying it till after quarantine is over. But there was a scene where one of the main characters named Ian, who is played by Tom Holland, really good, is needing to cross over a bottomless pit, and he uses some sort of magic spell to create a bridge, but it's invisible, and it only works if he believes with every single step. Essentially, that's just kind of what I want to do. Believe not with ignorance of what it takes to be a good YouTuber or to, get a lot of subscribers, and not with ignorance about how much work it's going to be, or how this will be kind of hard or whatever, but just with the belief that I can do it, and knowing that at the end of this next month, that if I don't even hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be really proud of myself for having tried, put in effort, and just seeing what I could have made of it. And I don't think that I'll quit, because I'll have learned a lot, and maybe, I guess this is what gamblers, I guess this is what people with gambling addictions say, but maybe that next video would be the one that makes it big and kind of makes everything crazy. So why stop, if it's not too hard? Like I said in my last video about how I made my first YouTube video, I think there's so much good educational content out there. Everything is so good now, Cameras are amazing. You cannot buy a bad camera that has been made in the past couple years. So many people have made epic courses on how to do stuff. There's so much educational content out there that's completely free that I think the only difference between someone who is successful at whatever they're doing and someone who's not is how long they're willing to try and how long they're willing to not be there, so to speak. There's stories of people who it took them years to get big, and there's other people who got big in a couple weeks, maybe they had some sort of special sauce or whatever. That doesn't mean that the person who got big in a couple weeks is more valuable than the person who took a couple years to take off. It just means that there was something about it. And I bet that the person who has spent years on it before they got big or successful or whatever, I bet they learned a lot of lessons along the way that were worth the delay. Does that make sense? I just want to grow myself and try to get as much education and, try to pursue this as much as possible to see really what it can be. and just make it super epic. So anyway, that's my strategy on how I'm gonna try to hit 1,000 subscribers within the next month. I hope this video has been super valuable to you, and if you found this content interesting at all or want to follow along on my journey, every now and then I'll post an update video on how it's coming. Just go ahead and do me a favor. Like, subscribe. Every single YouTube video for all of mankind has said like and subscribe. But this time, you're actually helping me with a goal and not just like doing it to do it, I guess, So if you want to follow along with me, and maybe you believe in me, or maybe you want to see me fail, either way, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Dinosaur logo.